My name's Kiran, I'm from Leicester. I was born in the UK and I've just recently moved back to Leicester actually. Although religion wasn't really imposed on me as a child, there was a concept that there is a God. I used to go to the temple as a child, not really understanding the prayers there or the rituals or anything like that. Earlier on in my I would say, pre-teens, I was experiencing same-sex attraction and I think it was probably towards my early adulthood that I kind of really accepted this is who I am. I did feel I had to hide it at the beginning because I felt it would bring shame upon my family coming from an Indian culture. But I decided that should I kind of hide this from my family or should I actually go forth and potentially have a happy life in terms of pursuing a relationship. And it wasn't until that I actually was in a long-term relationship where my ex-partner encountered God, and through her experience and learning about Jesus, the words that were coming out of her mouth just resounded in my heart. The Bible was speaking to me, the story she was telling me about Jesus and who he was, it was like an undeniable truth that was internalizing in me and I couldn't deny it. I thought I was born gay. This is why I pursued this identity with such a passion. And even if I caused shame upon my family or caused them hurt coming and living this kind of lifestyle, I pursued it because I thought it was a genuinely belief in my system that I was born this way. But until I had the truth through the Bible to find out who my true identity was, basically what I believed was a lie, and I built this whole life up based on this lie. I learned things about Satan and the enemy and how lies can be created and how you can so easily be deceived through what is perceived as normal or normal behavior or thinking. I found out that through the Bible that as human beings we had fallen short of God's glory. We had fallen into this kind of lifestyle where things weren't right. And I think that's where initially when I was feeling these feelings, there was that period where I wanted to cover it up because there was that shame, there was, oh, this is not right. But something within was just pushing me further to kind of pursue it because I thought it was my right to be happy as that person in a same-sexual relationship. But it was in the beginning, how it speaks of the Bible, how God created the world, how he created humans, everything in that sense, the design, the order, was just resounding to my heart, and it was just hitting inside, and it made me think that I was just basing everything on a lie, and it wasn't the truth. And I could see there's two perspectives in that midst of the moment, that the truth had come into me now, and it was a choice for me to, do I accept this? Like I said, my ex-partner had encountered God, and she said to me that at this point we can no longer pursue this relationship. And that was hard for me to accept because we'd been in a long-term relationship, but I could see the changes within her. She was previously had medical ongoing issues, and I just saw things change in her that I'd never seen before, and I knew that previously that I couldn't help her the way that she's been changed through this encounter. And it made me curious, who is this Jesus? Because to me, Jesus was just fictional. I thought he was a Western God. You just hear about Christmas or nativity plays through schools, but he wasn't real to me until I found out that he loves me and that he's created me and he has a purpose for me. Strangely enough, prior to us having the break off in the relationship, I always had this feeling that if something ever happens between this relationship, it's not because of other parties or influences in that sense or other people, but in my mind was that if there's something happens, it's going to be due to God. And I had a choice to make. My ex-partner called the relationship off. I accepted that. At the time, even though that was a blow to me personally, I think seeing her recovery in terms of her medical side of her, that was encouraging to me, and that was more of a greater gift, I believe, at that point, was to see, was I going to be narrow-minded and just say, no, this is just about, being in a relationship, or could I see the bigger picture of what was actually happening there? And that was her getting better and getting well. It made me think, I have a choice now. Do I want to perhaps now pursue another relationship with somebody else in another relationship, or do I now start following this truth that I've just learned that's been that's been discovered just in out of something that people probably would say, well, that was a really bad time in your life. But no, that was a pivotal point in my time in my life where things changed for me because I decided to follow the truth, and it's really made an incredible journey from that point on going forward. Change is possible. People who say you can't change is false, it's lie, it's a mindset. Anything is possible. Where you want to make a change, you can. Nobody can force you to change, but it has to be a decision within, and it's something to do with your own mindset. Like I said, I could have declined the truth of that time of what I was hearing about Jesus and the Bible, but to me it was a truth and I wanted to follow and I wanted to pursue it. My response to politicians that want to ban any sort of help available to people like me who've come out of the life of homosexuality or same-sex attraction is that you are cutting us off from the support that individuals may require. We are already a minority group within a minority, and I think people like us will need support in some places or at some point in their lives, and to deny that as residents of this country, I think it's not right. I think it's my decision whether I'm able to move forward with that new decision, whether I can move forward with leaving homosexuality and living a life where I don't have to practice that anymore. I think my response for people thinking about this, about homophobic and how it affects the younger generation, I honestly believe that people are more scared to hear our stories because they're afraid to know that even though they may have lived in a lifestyle of same-sex attraction for many years, as I did, they may be scared of that change. But people need to be open and liberal in a sense to allow people to live the lives they want to live. And I think for the younger generation, it's important because it will allow us to offer support for people who don't want to live this lifestyle. Like I said, when I was younger, I didn't really want to live this lifestyle, but I didn't know how else to go forward. It was just this label of identifying as a lesbian was my identity, and I either completely suppress it or I go forward with it. X Out Loud, they're like a family to me. They're a great support. It's so encouraging to have people around you who have shared similar journeys, such as coming out of same-sex attraction relationships and are following a new life where a decision has been made through whatever course of action that they've taken, but they've made a choice. And now that together we can look forward to our futures and living a life of happiness and peace. I think people who think walking in this direction is, if they think it's harmful or wrong in any way, I think their concept of who we are, they've not understood it correctly, because if they think we're harmful, I can't comprehend that as me being harmful in any way, because what am I doing right now that's harming anybody right now, in terms of I'm living a life that I choose to live. I'm not going out there opposing anybody else's agenda, but I have the right to live the life I want to live. And if that is through a life through following God or Christianity, then that's a right I should have, and to be able to do it freely. I think people who might think I'm being harmed, I think that's a false claim from their side, because they cannot see the perspective from my side. I've lived in that lifestyle of homosexuality and coming out of it, and now deciding not to practice that lifestyle anymore. I can say that I'm happier than I was before, and I'm enjoying life. I have peace in my life. The most important thing for me has been having people who have had similar stories, who have come out of similar backgrounds, to know that I'm not the only person, that there are other people out there, and it's happening on a bigger scale than I thought it could be happening. And not just here in the UK, but it's global. And now we're living in a life of freedom. I'm telling my story because I want people to know that whoever previously or even now thinks that they were born gay, I want people to know that that's a lie. That's a false belief. That wherever it's come through our belief system, you don't have to identify with being gay or lesbian or homosexual in any way, just because there may be some sort of peer pressure or society saying it's okay to be that way. But there is also a lifestyle where it's okay to say no to living a same-sex life or homosexual lifestyle. And I just want people to know that that there is help out there. If you want to, if you're looking for support, you can take that path. It's a choice. It's not a forced choice, and that people can live a happy lifestyle when they are not practicing same-sex practice or homosexuality, even though they may have that internally inside, they may have had that previously. It's not impossible to leave that lifestyle. I say to people who think that I may be just kind of in a kind of a limp mode of just kind of exploring my sexuality, my heart is after God right now, and I'm not interested in any other relationship. Whether God will lead me to have a relationship with male partner at some point in the future, that only time will tell. But for now, my heart is set on God and just serving Him, and I'm just happy to be in His presence, and I'm happy just to live this life as a single woman. I don't feel that I'm lacking anything. I don't feel suppressed in any way or suppressed by religion. I think when I was younger and I was identifying as a lesbian, if any point in my life that was a time to suppress anything, it would have been there and then, to not identify as a lesbian, because I know of the pressures of family. I know the pressures of the Indian culture and the how people think and talk about you. So that would have been the perfect time to suppress it. But no, I went ahead and did everything I probably could have done to pursue being identified with a lesbian, and thinking that was going to lead to me being truly happy. So when I've come out of the same-sex lifestyle, and I don't feel that there's anything inside of me that needs to be explored further with my sexuality. I don't feel that I'm resisting any pressure, but I'm just taking each day as it comes, and it's all good at the moment. I can say that I'm living a life of happiness. I'm not lacking. I'm not feeling exposed, or I'm not feeling harmed in any way, and it's just wonderful to live in this kind of life. In terms of people who've firstly gone into the LGBT community, we firstly stand up for the right to say that we have a right to live the way we want to live our life. So we fight so hard about this, that as a lesbian, I have a right to live this life, and I can choose to be with a woman if I wish to. But why should anybody, or even anybody from that community, be scared if somebody wants to leave that lifestyle? If this country is really about freedom of speech and it's about freedom and our rights, then me choosing to leave the homosexuality lifestyle shouldn't impact them, because in a sense that why are they afraid of my change when they can embrace it? I'm not forcing my change upon anybody else, but I am saying I have the right to live my life in a different stance, where I can walk out of homosexuality. I don't have to practice that anymore. I kind of feel that although I identified the part as the lesbian, and with how things are with pride and gay pride, it's like society is kind of being forced to embrace that, and if we don't, then it's discrimination. But I'm a minority in a minority group, so don't I deserve even more right to have the support and the help of others, if I need to have any kind of help and support to go on with my journey? I think the protection that needs to be in place is that people should have the support system in place if they're changing for whatever reason it may be. But there needs to be a support system in place where people have the availability and the opportunity to speak to other people and seek that help and advice, even if it's just talking to someone just to get their thoughts out. Simple conversation can be very therapeutic and kind of relieve a lot of burden that you may feel about things that you may be talking about or feeling inside. And I think that has to be protected. If anybody's right to speak about how they feel is shut down, that's damaging society. I feel there's so much work to be done in terms of the work for Christians and for the church, and I'm just looking forward to the assignments that are coming my way.